Good morning, everyone. Today we are looking at another important topic related to couple relationship. In the previous session, we have looked at more about the marriage, the loneliness in marriage, and then how different factors affecting the couple's relationship. Today, we'll focus more on a specific condition called infidelity. Infidelity is the medical term for betrayal in committed marital relationships. So, and we'll also look at what is the role of counseling. Looking at infidelity or betrayal in married or primary relationships, committed primary relationships. Mainly, we are looking at a narrowed down aspect of just having a physical closeness or sexual closeness. So, infidelity is a topic of public interest where most of the people outside are mainly the main attraction here is the turns and twists that happens in a infidelity relationship. It might range from resignations to murders to exposures and high profile resignation of leaders. So the topic of infidelity is when we looked at from a psychological perspective, the main challenge for the family counselors or couple counselors is with the dealing mainly with the emotional hurt of the couple, whether it is the perpetrator who is committing the infidelity or the victim. So there is a deep hurt, emotional hurt, and then there is a broken trust involved, and counseling for such couples is much more challenging and completely different from counseling a couple having communication and other marital dissatisfaction alone kind of issues. So looking into the topic, the infidelity, yes, it is something that can damage the relationships, and it can have a very negative effect not only on the couple alone, but their extended families, children, for their careers, and then for their progress in their career area. And hence, it is important to understand what happens in this infidelity and what influences, and then what are the different types of infidelity, and is there a gender difference in terms of male female indulgence in infidelity. We'll also look at briefly about the justifications and the negative effects of infidelity, and also we'll finally close the topic with how healing can happen, what is the role of counseling. So starting with what is the infidelity is all about, looking at the attitudes or the opinions or the views that one hold about infidelity play a major role in the whole process. So men usually who are indulging in infidelity are also more permissive, and they're also more open for having more sexual partners outside their primary relationships. For women, it is mainly the emotional connection that is more important, along with the indulging. When they are indulging in infidelity, it is the emotional connection is considered to be equally important, whereas for men, it is purely a sexual relationship, not necessarily connected to an emotional involvement. So the attitudes, the views that one holds play a very important role here. And if for some particular reason, if there is a sanction of a secondary relationship uh, for some other reason, then we cannot call it infidelity. So here again, when it is considered as betrayal of or cheating or breach of trust or breaking the commitment, mainly when there is a disapproval from the primary relationship. And then there are various opinions. People in the metropolitan cities, living in bigger cities, especially highly educated people who are single and who have this living single or who indulge in premarital relationships, usually are more permissive and compared to the other groups. And then like I said, men generally look at it as a sexual relationship uh, for whatever reasons in the natural chemistry, that men are more desirous of sexual relationship or sexual satisfaction compared to women. In women, the sexual desire, they are usually having much more control over the sexual desire in contrast to out of control men. So usually it is considered woman has a weak sexual desire, and then they can easily control their emotional or sexual urges, whereas for man it is a natural need of fulfilling the sexual need. So could be one of the factor influencing infidelity, more incidents of infidelity in men. So it is also found in research that women and men seem to have increasingly similar kind of indulgence in infidelity when they are below 40 years. Even though the desire level is more in men, number of frequency or the types of infidelity is seen to be more or less equal in below 40 years of age, both in men and women. And looking at the marital satisfaction, couples who are having issues in marital satisfaction, generally poor quality of marital satisfaction, seem to have been indulging in this infidelity. And then there can be different kinds of infidelity. It's not necessarily always a sexual relationship. It is usually narrowed down to having only a physical relationship. Looking at infidelity from a little more broader perspective, it can range from having an emotional only relationship or sexual only relationship. It can be an internet kind of a relationship, or it can just be a kind of fondling or kissing kind of a relationship, or it can be a long distance phone relationship. So mainly it is looked at it from a more perspective of a breach of trust or lack of commitment or breaking in the commitment of the relationship, rather than looking just the physical relationship alone. So here, even though the main focus is on the sexual relationship, the attitudes of men and women vary in terms of, like I explained in the briefly, that for women it is more the emotional and sexual relationship that matters more, rather than for men it can be just the sexual relationship without emotional connection. So looking at the different types of infidelity. So infidelity, like I already mentioned, could be just the emotional relationship, or it is just the sexual relationship, or it can be one night stands or philandering kind of a relationship, and it could be an internet kind of a relationship, or someone who is almost traveling 3 weeks in a month might not always indulge in an infidelity because there might be a strain in the relationship. There can be a close emotional connection with a non-sexual emotional kind of relationship where the indulgence is more out of dissatisfied sexual kind of life. That could be the kind of situation. So looking at the gender differences, mainly the attitudes of the infidelity, the attitudes of the as their past experience. Like say that if before the marriage, if they are into a premarital kind of relationship, if they are exposed directly or indirectly to this kind of infidelity kind of relationship outside their primary relationship or a committed dating relationship, the incident is considered to be more high. And especially for men, due to the increased desire factors. And then for women, it is usually considered to be the longer length of the marriage, or more in terms of being neglected or being in a devalued kind of a marital relationship, or completely neglected kind of a relationship. And long years or long length of marital years is also one of the factor considered to be influencing the infidelity in women. Whereas in men, the longer relationship with the primary or marital area is considered to be a factor less influencing in infidelity. So looking at the gender influences, we are mainly here focusing in our topic today on the heterosexual marital relationships, excluding the lesbian and gay kind, or same-sex kind of relationships. So this is a little bit about the gender differences and cultural differences. Like I said, culturally, if the primary relationship is sanctioning the secondary relationship, then it cannot be considered to be a betrayal or infidelity kind of a relationship. And looking at other aspects, mainly the issues post discovery of this infidelity relationship. So the effects, in a way, it is the effects of this infidelity. Mainly infidelity effects can depend on a number of factors. Again, the kind of marital relationship that the couple is holding, and the attitudes that they hold about infidelity, and then the kind of family, whatever the kind of background that they are coming up with. People who are more religious are generally considered, where they are attending to a temple or church regularly, are considered to be less favorable, or they almost always consider it as immoral, or wrong, as a committing into infidelity or getting into infidelity kind of situation. So here, based on the situation of the marriage, quality of the marriage, the couples react to this infidelity. And then generally, when it comes to the disclosure, how they have found out the infidelity, it is by accident, or one partner finding it out, or the other partner is actually openly trying to reveal about the details of infidelity. So the person, whether the person indulging in infidelity or the person who is the other partner, they have psychological effects ranging from depression to a major kind of breakdown um, as a result of the infidelity effect. So here when it comes to the disclosure of infidelity relationship, mainly there are stages how the couple go through the different stages. In the stage where mainly the disclosure happens, if it is inside the counseling setup or outside the counseling setup, generally there is a lot of negative kind of anger, emotional flare-ups, and a lot of threats to leave the relationship, and it can be much more emotionally damaging kind of relationship. The person who is indulging in the infidelity, usually they kind of let the information in a piecemeal, which makes the relationship much more stressful for the other partner. So at a different level, when once they started sinking and then coming to the next step, mainly there is occasional emotional flare-ups without continuous reactions. And then the focus will be, in some of the couples, the focus will be shifted on working on their relationship, trying to look at where things went wrong, and then focusing mainly on the family responsibilities and working more towards a kind of bringing back the trust and commitment. At the final level, mainly when the person who is indulging in infidelity has taken a kind of trust building kind of a relationship, and mainly moving on with a kind of forgiveness, a chance given once more kind of a situation, where the main focus will be on improving their marital relationships and marital communication. So the reactions and the responses or the effects of this infidelity vary from each couple, and then it also depends on a lot of other factors like marital dissatisfaction or the quality of the sexual relationships. And when it comes to the divorce rate, how infidelity and divorce are connected, actually it's very surprising to note the research data. Very few couple, less than 1/4 of the couple in such relationships are moving towards divorce. The focus is mainly looking at the various attitudes, the factors, and then the kind of explanation given into this kind of relationships. A lot of other factors influencing the couple deciding to be being together or moving apart. So, and then it also looks at more on the healing of the deep hurt. More than 60% of the effect of discovering, or if one of the partner is diagnosed to have some sexual addiction or a kind of psychological addiction kind of a problem, the depression rate is very high, um, uh, to the level of 50 to 60%. And then major depression is one risk associated with this kind of situations. Mainly the person who has into the infidelity, committed the infidelity, the depression, and then the psychological effect seem to be high. So looking at the justifications, generally when there is a infidelity situation between the committed in a committed relationship, the justifications vary from kind of rationalizations of wanting to have a sexual experience to a kind of enjoyment kind of, or a desire fulfilling kind. and then looking at more from an emotional kind of reasoning, having an intellectual companion, or looking at it from a much more kind of let us say that if the person is indulging in this infidelity with a co-worker or a colleague, it's not necessarily that they have some issue or a strained primary relationship, but it could just be acting on their opportunity of having a kind of sexual experience. So the justifications might range from reasoning to the emotional kind of rationalizations. And then children, it is a common sense feeling for most of them that having children might prevent partners from indulging in infidelity. Not necessarily, but sometimes the kind of commitment, or it is considered to be a burden in investing when there are children, can also acting adversely, and then more like moving towards an infidelity as a relief kind of a factor is also being observed in some of the research findings. So looking at the aspect of healing or what counseling can do in such couples, like I said, counseling couples for other areas of concern like communication and marital dissatisfaction is completely different from counseling couple coming with this kind of infidelity issues. So it is equally challenging even for the couple counselor to kind of deal with the deep emotional hurt, the kind of negatively charged environment. So it needs a different kind of approach. Mainly, a lot of work is done on the healing aspect, mainly the partner who is going through as a kind of the non-indulgent partner who is going through a kind of feelings of what went wrong in their marriage, and then a lot of emotional reactions ranging from deep hurt to the anger, rage, and then a lot of frustration kind of emotions. It is important that it slowly helps the counseling. Disclosing the infidelity in counseling situation helps the couple move on better towards working their relationship rather than hiding that particular infidelity relationship. And it also kind of depends on how open the other partner is, or how ready is the other partner to forgive the indulgent partner. So a lot of focus is on forgiveness, and then able to move on with the relationship as the main focus of counseling. Yes, looking at the outcome of the counseling with such couples, like I said, if they are open, and then if there is a strong desire to come out of these kind of relationships and work on their primary relationships, then main focus can be towards the total relationship rather than just focusing on the infidelity incident per se. So overall, when it comes to working with the couple in counseling, when they are openly willing to speak about and then working on their relationships, and then looking at the factors influencing on the factors that led to the infidelity kind of relationship, and working through all this can make a big difference to the couple. And then very few couple actually move on towards complete separation, and then more willing to work on their relationships rather than looking at it as a kind of a final step towards breaking their relationships altogether. So this is in brief about what the research says, and then what is the literature on infidelity is talking about. And then hope this little piece of information will help the listeners to understand the topic a little more insightfully, rather than looking at it more from curiosity, or just a kind of interesting kind of a twisting or turning kind of a topic. Thank you all.